What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday night NFL. Oh, good Lord. Live before lock, presented by No House Advantage. I'm Eric Lindquist. I played NBA today. If you couldn't tell, hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell as we get going. Goes a long way for us here at the channel. Goes a long way for you because you become a prize whenever great stuff is going live here at Stokastic. We are here to talk Sunday night football. But first, we got some major sweats going on in the Stokastic streets right now. I think Alex Baker was just winning the millie until the Foster Moreau touchdown. Yes, the $20 millie here. Looking at DK Metcalf is huge for me right now in Rainmakers. I need him to do even more. If you could get that 100-yard bonus, that would be incredible. But Adam Scher, I think, might be live to get a top 10 backdoor there too. Lots of really good spots across the entire board today. So pretty successful venture, even with some chalk doing well, some chalk absolutely busting into the atmosphere. Good times had by all. I have my co-host, though, Neil Orfield. I'm done talking because I'm just kind of getting it going here. He's the flannel, fantastic individual over there in the Minnesota Timberwolves hat. Our team Minnesota on the channel. Go follow him at PlayerQDFS on Twitter.com. How you doing, my dude?
I'm doing great. You left me in great hands, but still, we've missed you. You've been gone the past couple of weeks. I was here with Aton a couple of weeks ago. I was here with Savoca last week. Loved, both shows went great, but we missed you the whole time. And I noticed that you have a little bit of a French accent now. Are you on mute? Is Eric on mute? Is this on my end?
I'm on mute. I was trolling you.
Okay.
It's fine.
Oh,
don't mind me. Baguette. Je m'appelle Eric.
Yeah.
The
only sweat that I have going on is I played the Wildcat and I'm bubbling right now. I'm outside the money. I also need something from DK Metcalf, and he literally just had a call.
They just reversed it. I'm watching that.
You and I are ruining the same thing.
Here's the thing. I don't think people understand like what our oh shit. I just X'd out of all my tabs.
I know.
You know, when you go up, I was trying to minimize from the corner, and then I just X'd out of every single tab. So I no longer have the game on. I think my internet's probably doing fantastic at the moment. Let's see if I can pull it up on the old iPad. God, this is just wild. Let me see if I can get this going. But anyway, we're sweating games here. I wake up at usually 5:30, 5:45 my time. Start putting in the work. I'm energetic and happy all the times. Here it is. I also fell asleep at 8 p.m. last night because I'm still just fighting this time zone. It's tough over here, tough sledding over here. But you get up early, you put in the work. I forgot to record a Prize Picks thing, did that. Was able to get a lot of other things done throughout the entire day. Did NFL Live Before Lock. I'm making lineups. I'm adjusting my own stuff. Then I played NBA. And now I am here on the No House Advantage show, chatting away. You guys need to go sign up over there. Use promo code Stokastic, get yourself $50 for his match deposit bonus. But it's fun to be successful and to actually have a winning Sunday for once. And then to see everybody absolutely smashing with Stokastic avatars at or near the top of leaderboards. NFL is a tough sled in these days. This is really, really fun to see.
Yeah. And we mentioned that Alex is borderline on the millie. Adam's coming up, in the top 100 here. And Adam also won the early slate. I just saw that a little bit ago.
Yeah.
And he was trolling you about it, but I'm sure you're happy for him despite the troll.
Oh, yeah. I'm just so happy for him. I didn't want to win the early slate. That was not one of my goals.
Were you up there?
It's all right. He's only buried like, $500,000 now. It's fine.
Were you up there in the?
I was not.
Slate?
I didn't even play the early slate.
Okay.
It's so hard to do when you get inactives come through, and then you have this Rainmaker crap, and then you have all the other stuff that you have to get done. It's very difficult for me to feel in any way, shape, or form like I need to be firing that up. But either way, hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell as we get going. I'm going to be paying attention to the games live here as we're finishing out. We just have the one going. Again, I have to get all my tabs up before we start. But Green Bay visiting Philadelphia. Our arch nemesis, who have not been very good this season. It's felt really, really good. Going into the link, didn't go well for the Vikings week 2. Hasn't gone well for a lot of teams so far this season. But what are you kind of expecting from this game before we dive in?
Maybe like 50-3 Eagles.
I love you so much. That's kind of what I was thinking. So I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, I honestly do think that the Eagles, probably not 50-3, but I think it's going to be, I think the Eagles are going to put them away by at least 10 points.
Okay, well, that was a quick, brief synopsis. I'm okay with that. We'll get into the ins and out of everything here. I want to recap. Let's see. I just want to see if anybody's doing well at the top of this. Again, we had Alex up there at the top. They're going to OT right now for Vegas, Seattle. So we got some time to wait before anything becomes official on this. I'm going to pull up all my tabs as we get going, but we go position by position on this show. You know how we do things. Let's dive in. Let's start with the quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers has had a very down year. We are playing Showdown, and you are one of the best Showdown, if not the best Showdown player on planet Earth. I believe that. Many others believe it. Check out his videos as he breaks down all of these slates day in, day out for Showdown. How do you feel about him? Because he's really, really tough for me to get a gauge on for this slate, what I want to do.
Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, I mean, I feel okay. It really comes down to ownership. We've got him a little bit over owned currently in the captain spot, coming in at 6% captain ownership. We've got him optimal 3% of the time. So he's looking not great in the captain spot. And then in the util spot, we've got him just neutral, 37% owned, 37% optimal. You and I'm sure we have the same kind of fear in our hearts about Aaron Rodgers, especially like on a primetime slate. We've just seen him do it so many times. But I've said that throughout the year. And I'm like, I can never count out Aaron Rodgers. Like that's just been a theme throughout his career. Maybe we can. I don't know. Maybe we're finally at the point where we can start counting out Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to count him out completely, but it is a tough spot against the Eagles. They're much better against the pass than they are against the run. It's in Philadelphia, but I also would expect Aaron Rodgers probably going to need to throw the ball to stay in the game. So I'm expecting some volume. I don't know. The Packers have kind of gone away from it to an extent, though. They might want to run the ball anyway. So I think I'm not really bullish on Aaron Rodgers here, but I don't think that the field is far off, playing at about 43%. I'm probably going to be under that on Aaron Rodgers, but he's a quarterback on a one-game slate.
He's a quarterback on a one-game slate. I think for me, more of the discussion point of what I'm trying to figure out, what I want to be doing, is what to do with him up in the captain spot, because you do get some of the cheaper pass catchers along with him. We've now seen competency from Christian Watson. I'm going to just call it competency. We've seen 5 touchdowns his last 2. Do I expect that to continue? Absolutely not. But it goes without saying he's somebody who can get there in terms of fantasy nowadays, especially if they're in come from behind mode. You get Alan Lazard, shout out Iowa State, go Cyclones, taking down North Carolina in basketball. We won't talk about their football performance on Saturday, but there are some pass catchers that I think are pretty intriguing. And Aaron Rodgers is just coming in right around 3.3% captain optimal. That seems very, very low for a quarterback on any slate, especially one who, like Green Bay has been running the ball a lot more this season, but they haven't been successful. And now I do expect it to be more of a negative game script more times than not, like I'm assuming you would. Are you going to be getting to him above or below that 3.3% number, the captain slot?
Probably above. I mean, the way that I build, it's partially just because of the way I use Fantasy Cruncher. I end up above the field frequently on quarterbacks in the captain spot. And despite the negative leverage that we see here, I think that I'm probably going to be above the field on Aaron Rodgers. Of course, that's something that I could account for, the fact that, the way I build, giving boost to pass catchers when I have the quarterback in the captain spot. Fantasy Cruncher naturally wants to give me more. Sometimes I'll go in and give a thumbs down to the quarterback to get to about how much I want. I don't think I'm going to here, unless I don't think I want to get to like 20% Aaron Rodgers, but I think that I see myself getting above the field despite the negative leverage, just because you got to play different game scripts, and I could see the Packers playing from behind, and even if they want to run the ball, they could be in a situation where they're forced to throw the ball late. So I'm probably going to be a little bit above the field despite the negative leverage.
That's kind of where I'm at, because right now we have Jake Elliott, Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, all of them with positive leverage in the util. You look at some of the captain optimal. I mean, Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith, just because of the tag on Smith, you're going to see them so popular in the captain slot. Maybe Aaron Rodgers just goes a little bit underlooked, and I do kind of prefer to get to some pass catchers, but I'm with you where I think the field probably gets away from playing a lot of Aaron Rodgers up top there, and there are some cheap pass catchers to put with him. Pretty easy to find paths to Jalen Hurts, who, again, has positive leverage in the utility right now. And that's kind of where I'm leading into the next section of this. We do have 19.2% captain optimal for Jalen Hurts, the quarterback on the other side. He's had a phenomenal season. He has not attempted more than 28 passes now since week 5. Since week 5, that is a large amount of time for him to really not be crazy, but he has been so good on the ground. We know he can get there with his legs, even in games that are close like this. I mean, we saw 16 rushing attempts last week. How are you feeling about Jalen Hurts? Because I think I do prefer him more in the utility for tonight's slate.
I love him. And my guess is that Jalen Hurts is going to be in damn near 100% of my lineups.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure that I'll be quite that high, but we've got positive leverage on him in both spots. Even in the captain spot, we have him at 18% ownership, 19% optimal. And then, yeah, as you said, the utility spot looks even better at 60% ownership, 65% optimal. The reason being that he is kind of expensive. So you put in that price tag, throw him in the captain spot. That's a lot of money to be spending on one player on DraftKings. So yeah, I think I'm with you that I prefer him in the utility spot because you can do more with your lineup by not playing him in the captain spot. But honestly, he looks great both places. He's probably going to be the highest scoring player on this slate. Of course, I guess one of these wide receivers could put up 100 and a touchdown, and that might be enough to outscore him. But I love Jalen Hurts here. I'm going to be playing him both places. My guess is I'll be above the field. I'll get to about 20% on Jalen Hurts in the captain spot, and then 70 to 80% in the util as well.
Noah Levinson gave us a super chat. Thank you for the $4.99. That's about all I have to say about that. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat.
Appreciate that. No comment with it?
Nope, absolutely none.
Well, if you have something that you want to ask, throw it in the chat, Noah.
Yeah, no, there's nothing written there at all.
I can't. Are you trolling? Did he write something? Is he? Oh,
I don't know. I don't have it pulled up anymore.
Yeah, so I don't believe MVS scored that touchdown that I was calling.
So we're going to go to the running back position. Anything else you want to talk about with quarterbacks here on tonight's slate?
No, I think we've done a good job of. I think there's only the two quarterbacks that are in play here, and we've talked about them both.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're here to do. So to summarize, looking over at DraftKings, because again, at the captain spot, you want to be over on Aaron Rodgers. What are you planning to do with Jalen Hurts up in that top spot?
I'm going to be probably around 20% Jalen Hurts. If you play Jalen Hurts, he's one of the rare quarterbacks that you can play in the captain spot without any pass catchers. Probably not something I'm going to be doing a lot just because I like the pass catching options for the Eagles as well. So I'm not going to be doing a ton of it, but he is a viable quarterback to play in the captain spot without any pass catchers just because of his rushing upside.
I love No House Advantage. Absolutely love them. But also, there are places where you're able to bet on sports in other states. Again, No House Advantage is a great option for me out here in California. But if you're in a legal betting state, you need to take advantage of this BetMGM offer that we have going. Excuse me, I was about to sneeze, I thought, but guess not. Bet $10. You're going to win $200 when you bet a money line of any soccer team playing tomorrow. So I'm going to pull up the old World Cup board for tomorrow. I'm going to tell you who to bet. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to bet $10 on Ghana. You're going to do that against Korea. That's what you're going to do. And here's what happens. If they win, you're going to get $200. If they lose, you're going to get $200. So I'm just saying, I think they're pretty live in that spot. Ghana, one of the fun darlings, always year in, year out, quadra yearly, every 4 years. I don't know what it would be, but I don't know what it is either. I know Centennial would be 100, but I don't know what every 4 years would be, but it's got to have quad in it, I would assume. So bet Ghana, get some money on them, put $10 over at BetMGM. You follow the link in the video description box below, click on that link, head over to BetMGM. When you wager and a goal is scored in that game, or any team scores a goal in that day, you're going to win $200. So if you like free money, take advantage of this right now. All righty, we jump to the running back spot, my friend, and with the road team, there's people on Twitter. I have friends out and about in this space that have kind of appeared, shout out Jesse, shout out DK, different guys on Twitter who I've become friendly with in Discords and other things of this nature, sharp guys, but they have an ongoing bit about Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon because they somehow think that Aaron Jones is not good at football and that they just need to jam AJ Dillon. I don't quite understand that entirely. I do understand that AJ Dillon comes in drastically under-owned compared to Aaron Jones on a lot of these slates. And somehow Aaron Jones always smashes. He is a little bit more involved in the passing game, does have the majority share of work. And AJ Dillon at times has gotten phased out. He has really gotten phased out the last couple because they've just been inefficient on the ground when he's been in the backfield. How do you feel about Aaron Jones, though, this chalk donkey that they like to call everybody on today's slate?
Yeah, Aaron Jones looks like he's coming in a little bit over-owned in the captain spot in particular. We've got Aaron Jones coming in with now I've lost 9.2% ownership, 3.5% optimal. So very negatively leveraged in terms of captain ownership on Aaron Jones. It's obviously it's a great spot. The Eagles are a bit of a run funnel defense. We just saw Washington run all over them. If the Commanders can run all over this defense, I didn't really think that it was going to be possible. I thought that they're a good enough defense that they should be able to stop anybody. But you look at the DVOA numbers, and they are 26th against the rush, third against the pass. So they're great at stopping the pass, not great against the rush. The Packers probably know that. Packers want to run the ball anyway. So I think that Aaron Jones, makes some sense in the utility spot in particular. Doesn't look as good in the captain spot. As I said, pretty negative leverage there. In the utility spot, coming in at 34% ownership, 32% optimal. It would not surprise me if that ownership gets even a little bit higher, though, on Aaron Jones, just because everybody sees the same thing that we do. Like the place to attack the Eagles is on the ground. Aaron Jones has just been so involved in the game plan for the Packers recently. Wouldn't be that shocking to see the ownership number come up. But I think if he does stay around 34% owned, I don't know. My guess is I'll be a little bit under that number, but not a ton. How do you feel about Aaron Jones?
It's hard not to play him quite a bit because we've seen some of this rushing volume of late, and it's not like AJ Dillon hasn't been there. There was that kind of freak spot where I thought Aaron Jones might have gotten hurt and thinking, oh, maybe AJ Dillon plays more against Tennessee. Not really. I mean, we saw it's been Aaron Jones's backfield quite a bit here. It hasn't been nearly 50-50 like you might have anticipated at times. In negative game scripts, he is the substantially better pass catcher. Hard for me not to like him, even at 10-4. Now, is he a showdown goat or whatever? I don't care about that. I'm only looking at today's slate and trying to figure out what to do. I will say, I'm very curious on what you're planning to do with him up in the captain spot, because he feels like a piece that doesn't have to come along with pass catchers from the Packers side, doesn't have to come with Aaron Rodgers, could be a positive game script type play where, if this entire game gets flipped, maybe he gets those 24 carries like we saw in week 10, ends up just pounding a rock with him a little bit. And he might be a standalone piece in like a 1-5, 2-4, even up top. There's always that one showdown slate with James Robinson where Jacksonville, where he ended up the captain optimal, 5 other pieces from the other side of that one. I think it was Miami, but either way, Aaron Jones up in the captain spot. Do you have any kind of a game plan for this? Because he feels really solid there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he just has such negative leverage looking at our tools. Like, as I was saying, we haven't projected for 9% ownership. So the ownership is just so high there. I do like that. I do that a fair amount where I have like one running back from the team in a 1-5 kind of lineup where I have 5 of the opposing team with just a running back, because hoping for that game plan where one side is just running the ball the whole game, the other side trying to throw the ball. So I do think that's a viable strategy. I don't think I'm going to have a ton of Aaron Jones in the captain spot just because we see the ownership coming in so high. I don't know that I'm going to be like as low as, so we only have him optimal 3.5% of the time. My guess is that I'll be somewhere between that 3.5% number and the 9.2% that we have him in the captain spot projected for ownership. So I'll be under the field, but probably actually a little bit above our optimal number, just because I do think that Aaron Jones is one of those guys, as you say, you don't need to pair him with anybody. He can do it independent of Aaron Rodgers. And it really would not surprise me to see the Packers rush the ball 35 times in this game. I could be way off. Maybe they have a different game plan, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them just pound the rock all game with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Well, we go from Aaron Jones at his 5.4 yards per carry on the season. Really, really good. I've just always believed he's a really good running back from a real life perspective. We go to AJ Dillon on the other side. Career 4.3 yards per game. He's down to just 4 yards per game this season. Only 1 touchdown. It's been tough sledding, quite literally, for him, for this Packers offense in general. He has definitely been on the odd side of the timeshare. It was up to 48% of snaps last week against Tennessee. It was as close to 50-50 as we've had in a while, other than that Detroit game where I believe Aaron Jones got dinged up. He got up to 66% there. How are you planning to utilize AJ Dillon? Because he has surely been less effective, but if we're trying to get leverage on the field, feels like he might be a guy to get it done for us.
Yeah, you know who else has been rough for? it has been rough for me. I've been playing AJ Dillon
Oh
all
God.
year in the right matchups against the Lions, and showdown
Mhm.
slates. I've been with Jesse on that. I've been playing a lot of AJ Dillon. He's coming in typically at such low ownership, and he just disappoints me over and over. He's been disappointing me all year, and I'm going to allow him to disappoint me one more time because once again, I think that the Packers could be wanting to run the ball all game, and I don't think they're going to rush it 35 times with Aaron Jones. It might be a 20 to 15 split if we see. We're probably not going to see 35 rushes to be clear, but I do think that AJ Dillon is going to get somewhere around a third of the carries, maybe 40% of the carries for the Packers, and he is 4,800. We haven't projected for 20% ownership. The projection doesn't look great relative to his price tag. He is 4,800 still, so it's come down from where it was at one point, but still not super low on AJ Dillon. But yeah, I think that I'm probably going to be coming above the field on AJ Dillon just because he's one of those guys that we know has the ceiling, even though he hasn't shown it this year. He's shown it in the past, and we have some positive leverage on him. 3.8% captain ownership, 4.1% optimal, 20% util ownership, 22% optimal. So we've got a little bit of positive leverage on AJ Dillon. I'm probably going to let him hurt me one more time.
So did you watch NFL Live Before Lock today?
I did. Yes.
A little bit. It's okay. It's
no,
fine if you did.
I did.
It's fine. Okay. Do you remember who I said my favorite running back play on the slate was for tournaments?
Isaiah Pacheco, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was one of them.
You liked him.
The one guy was Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
He just busted off an 86-yarder for the win. 33 carries, 229 yards, and 2 tutties at sub 6% ownership. I have 28%. That's fun.
I don't love it, but I'm happy for you.
Well, I would rather have both of us be here celebrating. That was a $1,300 rush for me, so that was good. I was barely profiting towards the end there because I just wasn't getting anything that I needed to from the Arizona side as that closed out, and then Eckler getting in the box probably wasn't ideal in Rainmakers because people have him and I don't because his cards are $1 billion. But anyway. Good times. Back to Sunday Night Football for the people. You always love your ancillary options running back. We don't really have anybody else on the ground that we should be looking at from Green Bay, correct?
Correct.
Good. So we can jump over to Philadelphia where it's Miles Sanders. And this guy is, for me, you want to talk about your A.J. Dillon? I think Miles Sanders, even this year where it's been improved and things couldn't possibly be better in terms of his situation, in terms of how good his team is, I still feel like I haven't gotten that game. I did not play him week 4 against Jacksonville. And that's the only time that he's gone completely bonkers the entire season from a DFS perspective. Otherwise, hasn't put up over 20 fantasy points. Now the last 2 weeks, getting poached running attempts from Jalen Hurts. It's like a college offense sometimes. Whatever, it's really working. Philadelphia is really good, and Jalen Hurts has improved so much as a passer and is so efficient in that regards, it doesn't matter. But Miles Sanders, boy, do I not like how much I've played him this season. Boy, do I not like how much I'm getting to him. He's projecting nearly identically to Aaron Jones. And something tells me Aaron Jones still, even though he's more expensive, ends up getting steamed up on these kind of slates. What do I do with Miles Sanders today? Please tell me.
Yeah, play some Miles Sanders. It's so we mentioned that it's a run funnel for the Packers side, that the Eagles defense is a run funnel. Well, so is the Packers side. All the running backs in this game are in a spot where they're facing great defenses to play running backs against. So I like Miles Sanders quite a bit. Did you see that Alex just won the SPY as well?
I did just see that. I was pulling it up to take a look at it. That was great.
That's pretty awesome.
God.
Congrats to Alex. And I assume, did he hold on for second in the Millie as well? People are very mad that we were talking about the earlier games.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just over under. He doesn't like anything I do. It's okay.
No, there were a few people who were mad at us for talking about the early games, but
that
is part of the show. That is part of the show.
Part of it is the sweat. We have 35 minutes. I bet we can get to the wide receivers, tight ends, kickers, and defense by then.
Yeah, let's do it. But yeah, I think all the running backs in this game ended up in third. All right, so he lost a spot.
Third in the Millie.
That's not too bad in a contest.
I would take third in the Millie. Just throwing it out there. Congrats, boss man. That's amazing.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, so I think that Miles Sanders looks great. We've got him at 9% projected ownership in the captain spot, 7.5% optimal. So a little bit of negative leverage for Miles Sanders in the captain spot, and then a little bit of positive leverage, 35% ownership in the util, 40% optimal. So like Aaron Jones, I think that he's a solid play. It's a great matchup for running backs. I'd rather have him in the flex.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think the flex, I'm probably going to get to some captain too, because I need to get back to even on this dude. Him and MVS, God, just end me in every single way, shape, and form. Now, there are some ancillary running back options that we can kind of entertain, is probably the right word. Allen Robinson to undergo season-ending foot surgery. That's wild. So I'm going to pick up some cards where we're talking about it. But Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott sitting there. How are we feeling about those two today?
Yeah, it's tough. Like neither of these guys has been all that involved lately. Boston Scott, the last 4 games since the week 7 bye, Boston Scott, 25% of snaps, 8% of snaps, 10%, 19%. So just not getting a ton of snaps. Kenneth Gainwell, a little bit better, 26%, 28%, 32%, but then just 16% of snaps in the most recent game for the Eagles. But it is a spot where, they're at home. It wouldn't be that surprising to see the Eagles up big late. I do still kind of like these guys, even though they haven't gotten a ton of opportunities. I still think that I can see myself playing a bit of these running backs where we've got Gainwell at just 6.6% projected ownership, Boston Scott at 4.9% projected ownership. The ownership is right there. So I do see myself getting to some of these guys probably above the field on both because I think, they are both talented enough running backs. And there have been games, although they haven't been recently, there have been games where the Eagles score, touchdowns with 3 different running backs in the same game. They're not afraid to throw one of these guys out there in the red zone. So I do see myself getting to at least a little bit above the field on both Gainwell and Boston Scott.
Yeah, it's a spot I think you want to get to a little bit over the field on both of them. Makes a lot of sense. They can fall in the end zone. I think that's kind of been one thing I've taken away from a lot of your videos. Sometimes at the tight end position, because that always seems to get talked about on Showdown. But if they can get a chance to get some goal line work, if they can fall into the end zone in spots, those are guys to be considering, especially down at that cheap end. You see with tight ends all the time. But even these two, we've seen it routinely over the course of the last 2 years where any given day, if Miles Sanders doesn't have it going, I mean, Jalen Hurts has been so good rushing it, that's kind of taken away a little bit of the upside. But Week 9, 12.8 fantasy points from Kenneth Gainwell. Boston Scott, he has been getting mixed in. We saw 2 targets for him last week, along with a couple rushes. That's good enough for me on this kind of a slate when trying to pick the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the easiest way to cut through the field on Showdown. I mean, you can do it with construction. There's a lot of different ways to get different, but the easiest way is just to find a low-owned player who has a real shot at scoring some fantasy points. And I think these guys do at coming in at low ownership. So yeah, we're on the same page there as far as the guys who are just, they're not sexy. They're probably not going to have a ton of opportunities, but they're going to have enough that they could pay off their salary.
You know, it is sexy, Neil Orfield.
That voice you're doing right now.
Overlay, baby.
Overlay is sexy.
Overlay, baby. You know how much overlay there is. I want you to guess how many entries on No House Advantage right now out of 1,200 are in their $15, $15K Sunday Night Football Showdown contest with 5K to first.
I mean, it has to be at least 1,000. Otherwise, people would be insane to not be going there right now.
323 out of 12 hundo. 27% full. 27% full. I don't know what you're doing right now, but if you are available to deposit and play at No House Advantage right now, there is no reason you shouldn't be there immediately. I'm saying immediately this second. Use promo code Stokastic. You can get up to a $50 first match deposit bonus. So put in 50, get 50. Put in 25, get 25, so on and so forth. If you just want to play one entry, well, guess what? You can make that 2 very easily by depositing $15. You'll get another 15. That's 2 entries. That is such good. I mean, the ROI on this thing is just through the roof. The equity that you have going for first there, 5K. You're playing player props. We have all the tools at the site to help make it as easy as possible. You go to the NFL tab, you go to the projections, and you go to the NHA NFL Optimal Lineups tab. You click on that. We have the No House Advantage free projections. Yes, free projections for you to take advantage of for Sunday Night Football. You would be insane not to be taking advantage of this overlay this second. That is such a ridiculous allotment. If you guys have been around the DFS streets forever, you know overlay is not something that shows up every single day anymore. it definitely needs to be repeated that it's the best way to guarantee yourself profit over a long period of time. Yeah, you heard me. Guarantee yourself profit when you combine the projections we have here at Stokastic and you combine it with No House Advantage. It is the best place to put your money this second. I know we're talking through DraftKings at FanDuel, but No House Advantage is where you want to be. Use promo code Stokastic. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of all of our free props and tools and win yourself some money tonight. Thank you to No House Advantage for their sponsorship of our beautiful little show that we have going here right now. But they also have, and in the event that that isn't good enough, they have test your skills versus the house right now with up to 20x your entry fee. Yeah, I know at other sites it might just be 10x that they cap it out at. You get 20x for going 5 for 5 in those props. So take advantage of that. Check out all of those great offerings over at No House Advantage. It is the best place to put your money tonight. Not even a close second here. Alrighty, my friend. Oh God, I'm just fired up now. That was good.
That was good.
That felt right. I thought I was out of practice. It had been a while for these Sunday night ones.
Still got it.
I'm here. I'm ready to party. I got my Van Jefferson shares here too. It's good stuff. But let's jump on over to the wide receiver position. And Green Bay, it's wild because Aaron Rodgers is the featured player of the team and they've been running the ball a little bit less. But still, we're starting to see the emergence of Christian Watson once he put glue on his hands or something because it wasn't working at the beginning of the year. But now, red zone monster. He is a massive body build for being a wide receiver in the NFL. Just a big dude coming out of North Dakota State. Allen Lazard there. Shout out Iowa State once more. Feels like a spot where if I'm going to be playing over the field Aaron Rodgers and captain, like I've discussed, I think I want to be getting to a lot of these pass catchers. Who is your preferred target between Lazard and Watson at their current ownerships?
Good question. It's very close because they both look like they're getting about the same ownership that they should be getting. I think that I'm going to lean Watson just because there's more room for upside given the low projected ownership. We have Watson projected for just 23% ownership. I'm a little bit hesitant because I think that Watson is a sexier name at this point. I think that people have seen, saw the 2-touchdown game the last week. I think I've actually changed my mind. I think that people saw the 2-touchdown game on the Island game, week or two ago. And Christian Watson has been great lately. He's a rookie. People see him ascending. I'm changing my mind. I'm going with Allen Lazard. I think that he is he's probably going to get more targets. And I would guess, and I could be way off here, but I would guess the ownership is pretty even here, or even maybe slightly in favor of Christian Watson. So I think I'm going to go with Lazard. That's not what our ownership. We have Lazard projected for 31%, Christian Watson for 23%. I just think that the recency bias is going to play a role here. And Watson didn't have a ton of opportunities that he didn't score touchdowns in that last Island game. Mm-hmm. So I think that there is a chance that the ownership gets more steam than we're expecting.
Yeah, it could get really, really up there. 7,200. I do like that his tag is close to Lazard. We're projecting Lazard for a little bit more here. I don't know, maybe the slappies. Yes, the word of the day, the slappies go after Christian Watson in bulk here. I'm probably going to be steaming and jamming a lot of Allen Lazard because I'm on board with you. I think, maybe people are just optimizing it and firing it in the way that you might think, but I think people look at box scores a lot. You see those last two from Watson. I think people are going that direction. Now, I'm going to have a lot of builds with both of them, but also Randall Cobb starting to get on the field a little bit more. 56% of the snaps last time out. That's nifty. Romeo Doubs continues to be out here, opens up some opportunity. Sammy Watkins, they have been very, very careful with coming off of that hamstring injury or knee injury. It was. It's been very tough to trust that kind of snap share going his direction. So Randall Cobb is the one who's pulling ownership. I think he should be pulling ownership. Do you want more or less than 20% in the utility?
I think I'm probably going to get to, I don't know. Let me look at what our tools say, because I'm crunching lineups right now and thinking about it. Looks like I should be going a little bit above the field. Currently, in the util, we just have him at 20% ownership, 21% optimal. We all saw the last game. Did you play the last slate where he was 200? Randall Cobb?
No,
or you were
I was Paris, I was gone. I was eating cheese and drinking red wine in countrysides in France.
Oh, and you sent a picture that looked so good. I forget what it was. It was
buddy, that meal was just dumb. That steak is the thing of legend. And that was my wife. My wife ordered the steak. She got like the big porterhouse. She's like, F it, vacation, let's ride. Tiny little thing eating a big old steak. It was beautiful. It was as French as it gets. And my chicken, not half bad itself.
Yeah, it looked amazing. I had to mention it because I remembered it. But yeah, Randall Cobb was 200. Everybody played him, and of course he got there. I'm looking up how many actual targets he got in that game. He was targeted 6 times, so he caught all 6 of his targets. So I mean, if he's going to be targeted 6 times, I think the price tag is about right. The ownership is about right. I think that I'm probably going to be close to the field, maybe slightly above. But my last crunch, I actually didn't get to any Randall Cobb. There are other players that I'm trying to get to more because they're getting lower ownership. But I think 20% seems about fair on Randall Cobb in the util.
Agreed. I'm going to be getting a little bit more. I think it's fair at the number. I just think at 5,200, he gives me some salary savings. And there are going to be a lot of people looking at our projections that are interested in kickers and defense on this slate. We're getting the normal 15% at defense. We're getting kickers that are just so much more popular than normal. I will say, Boss Man, ahead of his time, like you would expect. He's been ahead of his time forever. He's the absolute GOAT, but pretty sure he was jamming kickers before it was cool. And now everybody's jamming kickers, and it's a little bit annoying because it feels like whatever. So he's a little bit more expensive there. I think it gives you that opportunity to get away from some of that, what potentially could be 25, 30% on a Jake Elliott in large fields. That's what we've seen a lot here. I really like Randall Cobb as an option, but any other ridiculous wide receiver you're looking at from the Green Bay side? Looks like Torrey, we've seen on the field a little bit. Dobbs continues to be out. Sammy Watkins, I just can't do it anymore with Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, the talent isn't there and the opportunities aren't there for Sammy Watkins. So
he looked really good at the beginning of the year. Shout out before he got hurt because he was playing just every snap, and then they ran him into the ground.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the next up if somebody gets hurt in game, I guess. But yeah, it's hard to really want to play a ton of Sammy Watkins. The best thing he has going for him is low projected ownership. We have Sammy Watkins at 5% ownership, though. I think that I might fall for it again. I've played too much Sammy Watkins, and I've allowed him to bite me a good amount. It's a tough matchup against the Eagles, so I'm not really that inclined. But at 5% ownership at 3,400, touchdown probably pays off that price tag in potentially low scoring game. I'll probably get to some Sammy Watkins. I would guess I'll be above that 5% number. He played 36% of snaps in the last game, so he is out there on the field. Doesn't look great. He looks a little bit slow, and I'm guessing that's why the field doesn't want to go there. He's not getting a ton of opportunities, and he doesn't look great when he is out there. But again, it's a showdown slate. Sometimes you have to make some ugly plays, and I think a touchdown does pay off that price tag most likely. So I think I'll probably be a little bit above the field on Sammy Watkins.
All right. Well, let's get to the star attractions here of this game. And for me, that exists in the wide receiver position on the Philadelphia side, but the field is surely there too. A.J. Brown getting a ton of ownership. Devonta Smith getting a ton of ownership. His 8K tag, you transfer that over the captain spot at 12K. It allows you to get just about everything that you want and a bag of potato chips, which is nice. How are you feeling about these two options? Because they feel like unfadable, but I will say 11-2 for A.J. Brown is a gigantic number, and he's been running really, really good in the touchdown department on like individual games. But if he's going to be 40% and you go through that box score, there is a lot of fadeability here.
There is. Okay. Can we actually do something else? We got a super chat from Eric Traub. He sent us his usual super chat, and he mentioned that he's leaving. He has guests coming over, so he's not going to be around that long.
Oh, got it. Look at that. Good people. Sorry for throwing this out early, $9.99, but I've got neighbors coming over. Favorite player under 10% on DK and Flex. Is Tyree Jackson in play at all? Sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo. What are you feeling down here? Sub 10%.
I think Tyree Jackson is in play. He's not probably somebody that I'm going to be playing a ton of, but he played 13% of snaps in the last game, so he could get more involved. We saw Jack Stoll playing the 81% in the last game. He was Jackson was the TE3, but who knows? That was his first game played. He could take on a bigger role, and we could see him take.
Hey Neil.
Yeah.
It's a small Stoll sample.
Oh God. That was good. Yeah, well done there. So my favorite play under 10%. I mentioned Zach Pascal on Twitter earlier. I think Zach Pascal is in play as a guy who just is going to see the field for 30 or 40% of snaps. Are you laughing because I ignored what you're doing?
No, I'm laughing at myself because I'm funny. That's all. Just kicking it. Hit the like button, everybody. 1.2K people. You're all rolling on in here. I don't have anything else with you to say. Continue on. EMAC, if you didn't like that, I swear to God, we can't
that was
be
an
friends
EMAC
anymore.
joke. Yeah, that's. I mean,
yeah, that was purely. He was my target demographic for the one person out of 1.2K. Nailed it.
So I think I'm still going to stick with Zach Pascal as my favorite under 10% ownership. I am, increasingly, I'm like, man, maybe I should play some Sammy Watkins, but I think it's more likely for Zach Pascal to get there than Sammy Watkins, and he's a little bit cheaper. I think Boston Scott also in play among the super low owned guys, and Kenneth Gainwell as well. So it comes down to Pascal, Gainwell, and Scott for me. I think I'm leaning towards Pascal.
Yeah, that makes Pascal. I'm going to just cheat and take Jack Stoll at 12%. Can I do that?
If you can cheat, then I would also take Jack Stoll, but I'll allow it. Yeah. So I would prefer Stoll over Pascal if he's really going to get 12% ownership. I think there's a better chance that ownership comes in higher than we expect than Zach Pascal. I think Pascal probably not going to get a ton.
People talking about it absolutely pouring in Philly right now. I am checking the weather, and I will continue to do that here. I thought it was going to rain a little bit there. I mean, we saw some downpour other places today. It wasn't that bad up in New York today. People were talking about it. Didn't affect Garrett Wilson chalk week. I'll tell you that much. Whatever.
Yeah. You didn't like that? You didn't like the
No, but I'm very happy because Josh Jacobs smashed, so I don't really care. I can't complain about anything anymore. He was the only thing I got right, really, and that was good enough. Let's continue to other pass catchers here. AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. Let's go back to that now. Or wait, we had one other super chat. I know we did. Let me get that too. Joe Ducks and Raiders. Could you explain FD top stack missing flex ownership? Well, let me take a look because that would be very, very bad if we were missing the flex ownership there. I'm playing just DK tonight. Obviously doing shows here, and let me see.
Oh yeah, we are missing flex ownership.
All right, so can we get Tyler to ping?
Oh no, sorry. 2 to 5. Wait, is that 2 to 5%?
Yeah, flex ownership is not ownership. Showing up in the table.
Yeah, it's not showing up.
We need that. That'd be great. Yes. I didn't look over at it at any point in time because again, I'm just focusing on DraftKings.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we have that ownership somewhere else in the projections.
Is it uploaded in Cruncher at least?
I have not looked at FanDuel yet.
Yeah, me either. Are you just playing DK like me tonight?
I think so. I might handle a few lineups on the show, but I don't think I'm playing much.
Best of luck to you there. I always try to talk about it as we're going along. I mean, Jalen Hurts, the absolute chalk of all chalk, up at 17K. That's an expensive number still, but definitely worth it. We'll kind of go through some of this, but we'll find out. I'll find out what's going on. I'll send somebody a note. There's a spot that I can ping a note. We'll see what we can get that taken care of you in the next 20 minutes. We have 20 minutes to lock, so a little bit better that it's a 8:20 p.m. Eastern time lock as opposed to the 7:15 or sorry, what would it be? Yeah, 8:15 that it would have been normally. But let's jump over to these wide receivers again. AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. What's your thought process in terms of AJ Brown first? Because he is really expensive and he is, you want to talk about his ceiling, sure, but I want to talk about his floor because it is certainly there.
Yeah, the floor is there. And it is a spot where they might prefer to run the ball against the Packers. Again, kind of a run funnel defense.
Big time.
Now, pulling back up I want to see what the actual tools say. My guess is I'm going to be a little bit under the field just because I'm leaving salary on the table and playing Jalen Hurts everywhere, which is going to naturally lead me to a little bit less of everybody else. But I want to hang on 1 second here. Go to the top showdown plays tool.
It is not pouring in Philadelphia. You're damn dirty liars. We got to block some people. Where are they? I'll find these people.
I thought I had heard that somewhere else also. Anyway, we got AJ Brown, 11% projected ownership in the captain spot, 9.2% optimal. So a little bit over-owned in the captain spot. He looks, about neutral, 40% projected ownership in the util, 42% optimal. So slight positive leverage in the util spot for AJ Brown as well. I think I'm going to be underweight to the field just because as I said, I'm leaving salary on the table. I prefer Jalen Hurts. He's clearly the safer option. But does it shock anybody if AJ Brown has 100 yards and 2 touchdowns? Not really. The Eagles also have a tendency this year to, if they get up a lot in the first half, they really don't throw the ball much in the second half at all. So I think that there's a good chance of that happening. If AJ Brown has had games where he comes in and he puts up a huge first half, and then the second half is basically invisible, because that's just the Eagles' tendency. They do like to run the ball more with the lead. So I think I'm probably going to be underweight to the field on AJ Brown.
Okay. Yeah, I'm way under the field to AJ Brown. It's just a guy that I think he's phenomenal in terms of real life football, but sometimes some of the things he does are like attracting more attention, and he's, I don't know, not your typical wide receiver. He just has these unbelievable 45-point games, and if he does that, I'm going to lose, and I'm okay with it. He doesn't even need to do that. I mean, if he puts up 25, I'm probably going to lose too, but he's so boom bust, and that tag is just so up there in a place where I would much rather land on Smith, Watkins, Pascal. Let's talk about them next. Devonta Smith pulling a ton of ownership, going to be very popular in terms of Captain Optimal. Over on FanDuel, looking at Devonta at 12K, you get some major savings off the likes of Miles Sanders, 1,000 less than that. Aaron Jones is only 1,500 more. He's going to be popular there. AJ Brown, 2,500 more going to Devonta Smith. You gotta like that, right?
Yeah, Devonta Smith, I like quite a bit. The tools like Devonta Smith quite a bit. 11% ownership in the captain spot, 13% optimal, 33% util ownership, 36% optimal. So positive leverage in both places for Devonta Smith. I'm going to be above. I would assume I'm going to end up above the field on. Yeah, currently I'm getting to 42% Smith in the util. I'm getting to 10% in the captain spot. I think he makes for a great play. The price is right. He's one of the cheaper studs on this slate. So I like Devonta Smith quite a bit.
Yeah. Let's talk Quez Watkins, Zach Pascal here, the fish himself. 4,600, 2K going both of their ways. I mean, Quez is going to pull a little bit of ownership there, 13.7, but he's cheaper, or he's not pulling as much ownership as the likes of Cobb. Zach Pascal gives you underneath that kicker defense tier, gives you some savings. I think he's going to be very popular in builds with Jalen Hurts up top. Again, thinking about what that whole lineup's going to look like, I don't feel comfortable going from like a Quez to Zach Pascal straight up, but those are the kind of sacrifices you kind of want to get yourself to make in some showdown lineups. There isn't that big of a difference in terms of them in the utility. I have zero interest in playing them in the captain, but what are you planning to do with the ancillary options from Philadelphia's wide receiving core?
I'm going to play them. They're both not getting a ton of ownership. I'm going to be above the field on both. Quez Watkins has that home run potential. He's also played at least 53% of snaps in each of the 4 games since the Eagles bye. I mean, even before that, he was, playing above 50% of snaps just about every game this year. Quez Watkins is the wide receiver 3 in Philadelphia, and he always has that ability for a long touchdown. So I like Quez Watkins quite a bit at low ownership and a low salary. What is he? Is 4,600. That's a reasonable price tag for a guy with the opportunity and skill set of Quez Watkins. I like him quite a bit at 14% ownership. Looking at the tools, looking at our simulations, we have Quez Watkins at 1.5%. See, I actually think that he's a fine play in the captain spot because he's getting 1.5% ownership, 1.9% optimal. I don't know how much I'm going to get there, but I think that he is a viable play because it would just take, a touchdown, maybe a touchdown in 60 yards or something to pay off that price tag. I think that he's a fine play, but I understand not wanting to get him right away. We also have him at 14% ownership. He actually has negative leverage in the util spot, 14% util ownership, 12% optimal in the util. I still think because I'm leaving salary on the table, I might be getting to a little bit above the field on Quez Watkins and hope that in some of those lineups, maybe Quez Watkins, I'm hoping that he outscores the likes of Christian Watson and even maybe Devonta Smith. Not as likely, but hope that he outscores some of those guys who are a little bit more expensive than him. So I like Quez Watkins quite a bit. And then Zach Pascal. I mean, I mentioned I named him as my favorite of the players coming in under 10% ownership. He also just has a very good opportunity in this offense. He's played 43%, 42%, 43%, and 31% in the 4 games for the Eagles since their bye week. I did that in the wrong order there. 43% week 8, then 31%, 42%, 43% of snaps the past couple of games. So, if he's getting 40% plus snap share in this Eagles offense, I think that's enough opportunity for a guy like Zach Pascal to potentially score a touchdown and break the slate at very low ownership. We've got Zach Pascal projected for 8.4 excuse me percent ownership in the util. And I actually think that it's more likely for Zach Pascal to hold that ownership than Jack Stoll, just because Jack Stoll is the shiny new, well, he's the new tight end now. So people are going to want to play him, whereas Zach Pascal has the same role he's had all year. And he hasn't done a ton with it, but he certainly has the opportunity to do it. The price tag is right at 2,000. So I like Zach Pascal quite a bit. And then looking at the tools, we've got him at, again, a little bit of negative leverage in the util spot, 8.4% ownership, 7% optimal. We actually have him looking better in the captain spot, 0.6% ownership, 1.3% optimal, but I'm going to be playing him more likely in the util spot. I think that he makes some sense.
All righty. Any other pass catcher you want to be discussing wide receiving options? Covey exists. He is not inactive, but God, I can't do it.
He hasn't played the past 2 games. I can't do it. I'm not going to Britton Covey.
Okay. Just wanted to bring him up because I know we like to scrape the barrel, because that's how you really jam and win when you get these sub 1% guys. And I've noticed you've done that a time or two, my friend.
I have done it a time or two. Not in several weeks now. So I'm in a bit of a drought. Gotta pull one of these out.
Well, something that would help you if you weren't a sub here at Stokastic, or if you weren't an employee at this point, because we love you and you obviously get all of the tools, but we want to get you guys an opportunity to get the free tools for a week, starting for this Sunday, going into next Sunday. We have promo code THANKS going. Yes, promo code THANKS. That is the one that we're looking at. I don't know why that disappeared off my run sheet, but whatever. It doesn't matter. You got that, Tyler? Promo code THANKS. You're the man. See, Tyler Zander behind the virtual glass. Texas A&M won themselves football game yesterday. Let's go. Enjoy no bowl. Whatever. It's okay. That was a great win. LSU, they're not very good. But I will say, promo code THANKS gets you everything we have behind the paywall. Take advantage of it right now. Do you want all of the ownership projections? Do you want all of the boom bust tools? Do you want all of the lineup generators for every single sport we're talking about here? If you do, make sure you take advantage of promo code THANKS right now. Yes, it is just $5. That'll give you everything for a week. So if you want all of the ownership and stuff that's smashed for Alex Baker and others for this Sunday, you'll get all of the main slate projections. If you sign up today, you could cancel it after a week, but I guarantee you, once you see the tools, once you see how effective it could be for NBA and NHL during this week, you aren't going to want to go anywhere. So use promo code THANKS. Thank you so much to all of the great people here at Stokastic, doing a great job to get you guys those offerings. All right, I'm not going to make any Stoll jokes. We're going to go to Tonyan, Robert Tonyan at the tight end position for Green Bay. 5K, a little bit of an overpay, but red zone equity in years past, even if it hasn't really been there in this season, just 1 touchdown on the year for him in that regard. How are you feeling about him as a pass catching option for Mr. Aaron Rodgers?
Tonyan. Sorry, I was ready to answer about Toll, and then I realized you were asking me about Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan looks great, looks under-owned. 2.8% ownership in the captain spot, 3.4% optimal there. In the util spot, we've got him at 21% ownership, 24% optimal. He's 5,000. The price tag is right for Robert Tonyan. He'll have plenty of opportunities. Aaron Rodgers likes him. I think that he's a solid play.
Okay, well, that was very effective and quick, and let me get my stuff updated here.
I just realized that we only have 5 minutes. I need to.
No, we don't. We have 11 minutes.
Oh, do we? Is it?
Yeah. We got 5:20. 5:20 my time. 7:20 yours. 8:20 for normal people out on the East Coast who do normal time things. My lineup is.
Why is that the normal time? Come on. Real America time. That's the normal time.
Stop it.
Have you forgotten your roots, Eric?
I got no roots from my home. I sang a lot this show. We need to stop that. Let's go to Josiah DeGuara. That's a great name. Mercedes Lewis, time or two. He's shown up and done things. Tyler Davis, no thank you. Oh, boy. Really, really tough because if there's no injury to Tonyan, he's just on the field all the time. DeGuara pulling a little bit of ownership at 5%. Mercedes Lewis a little bit further behind. Something tells me, knowing the way that you play DFS, play these showdowns specifically, you might have some interest in these two lovely gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they both are getting enough snap share to be relevant on a slate like this. Mercedes Lewis played just 20. They each played, both Lewis and DeGuara played 26% of snaps in week 11 for the Packers. But prior to that, Mercedes Lewis played 58% of snaps in week 10 for the Packers, 43% the week before. It's been a while. This is actually the lowest that he's played the entire year, the 26% he played in week 11. So you could say, well, maybe he's trending the wrong direction, but it also may have just been a fluke that he was not on the field as much as he usually is. He's usually out there. He is a red zone target. He's a big body for the red zone. So I think that Mercedes Lewis will have an opportunity, or could have an opportunity to pay off that price tag. I think they're both fine plays at relatively low ownership. I didn't name them as my favorite low owned plays, but I think that they are certainly viable, and they are, we talk about how we like playing some guys at very low ownership, both coming in at we've got Mercedes Lewis at 3.3% projected ownership, DeGuara at 5%. So I think that they both are in play. I think my preference there is Mercedes Lewis, but I think both are viable plays here.
Apparently my voice broke all the crystal and optimal primes household. I apologize. I'll talk in a deeper timbre for you here. How about that? Need free Stokastic. I can't give you free, but if you use promo code thanks, you'll get for $5. So take advantage of that week. Let's jump to the Stole sample. Can I steal that? Somebody's had to have said that before breaking down fantasy football, right?
You just said it. Who are you stealing it from?
Nobody.
Yeah,
literally, I'm just saying
yours.
It's mine. I said the Stole sample first.
You did.
We still have a small Stole sample at this point in time, but if you're going to be filling in for Goddard, you're going to be playing a lot of snaps. I do expect things for him going forward. Now, it's not great to see less than 4 fantasy points in every single game so far this season, but as he gets more acclimated, he's going to be on the field a lot more, I would expect. And really the only pass catcher, because Tyree Jackson and Grant Calcaterra, did I do that right? I don't know. Jack Stoll, how are we feeling about him tonight?
Yeah, I like Jack Stoll. As I said, he played 81% of snaps in the last game, the first game without Dallas Goedert for the Eagles. He appears to be the tight end one. I think that it makes a lot of sense. The field is going there, not enough. You mentioned him as he's close to that 10% ownership number that we really like. He's going to come in at 12% owned at $1,200 price tag as the presumed tight end one for the Eagles. I think Jack Stoll is a phenomenal play here. I'm going to be above the field.
As am I. Talked about him being my favorite play, sub 10%, because I cheated. He's 12%. So there you go. Freebie for all of you people out there in the world. Calcaterra, Tyree Jackson, whatever. Just if you get a couple lineups out of 150 trying to hit the nuts, sweet. They need a touchdown. You can throw them into the mix. Jack Stoll, considering he's only at 12%, much more inclined to go his direction.
Yeah, I like Jack Stoll quite a bit. I do think that Tyree Jackson is a little bit interesting just because, as I mentioned, the last game was the first game he's played all year. Didn't see a ton of action. Maybe they're easing him in a little bit. I don't know. I think that maybe there's some possibility just because he hadn't played yet this year. Maybe he comes in and plays a little bit more. But I think Jack Stoll is pretty clearly the safest option and low enough owned that you don't necessarily need to go to those other guys. You can just go overweight to the field, jam in Jack Stoll, because chances are he's probably going to have the best opportunity here.
Calcaterra is a fun name to say, though.
It is.
Thank you, Mike
Lawrence. Saying it right, but we enjoy saying it the way we are.
Yeah, no, I'm an idiot. Don't mind me. Cool. We got kickers and defenses. They need love too. No discrimination here, Squirrel. I've said that twice today, but Speaker Box, Love Below, one of the great albums of my generation, that's for sure. Shout out Andre 3000 and Big Boy. Jake Elliott, Mason Crosby, they both kick footballs. That means that they're important on Showdown. Talk to me about them.
Yeah, I mean, basically any Showdown slate, kickers and defenses project among the best in terms of point per dollar plays, and this is no different. We have Mason Crosby under-owned in both the util and the captain spot. We've only got him at 2% projected ownership in the captain spot, 4.2% chance of being optimal. And then in the util, 18.5% ownership, 20.7% optimal. So, Mason Crosby looks great. Obviously, typically I prefer to play the favorite, the kicker from the favorite, but I do think that, Mason Crosby is one of the greatest kickers of our lifetime. And I think if they do get the ball in the red zone, they can trust Mason Crosby. So looks great. Makes a lot of sense. Jake Elliott looks even better. 3.1% projected ownership, 5.4% optimal in the captain spot. 5.4% optimal for Jake Elliott in the captain spot. Nobody wants to play kickers in the captain spot. That is pretty high odds of being optimal. And then in the util, 23.2% projected ownership, 29.3% optimal. Both the kickers look like some of the best point per dollar plays on the slate. I think you should play some.
All right. And to the defense, yes. Somebody just, I was going to respond in chat because it's so, Eric is feeling good, feeling great, feeling great, feeling good. How are you? God, I love that album so much. It's truly the best. If you feel like it. A lot of singing, a lot of singing. To the defenses, my friends, let's round out the show. Philadelphia pulling more. Oh, no, pulling less ownership because they're 5,600 than the Packers at 3,200. But boy, 5,600 for a defense is quite something to observe, my friend.
It's an expensive, they are an expensive defense. Aaron Rodgers, historically not somebody who throws a ton of interceptions, but this year has been, he hasn't been as good, and he has thrown more interceptions. I should find what the updated number is since the last time I actually looked, but he's been throwing interceptions this year. And the Eagles are one of the best defenses in the league. So I understand people wanting to go to the Eagles. Let's see, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 7 interceptions. It was 3 in one game. So actually not a ton, 7 in 11 games. He hasn't thrown any of the past couple. So his ratio has come down a little bit, but still more interceptions than we're used to with Aaron Rodgers. And certainly this Eagles defense, one of the toughest spots for him, but 5,600, the price tag looks too high for me to want to play a ton of the Eagles. And then I look at our numbers in the single game tool. We have the Eagles at 2% ownership in the captain spot, 1.2% optimal, 14% ownership in the util spot, 12.2% optimal. So with that price tag, they don't look quite as good as the other options here in terms of points per dollar.
All right, Neil, we got 3 minutes to go. Make sure you get your lineups in here. I'm going to kill some time here. While I ask for likes, I didn't ask for likes throughout the entire show for the most part. Probably going to be told so after this, but I'm telling you right now, hit that like button. Goes such a long way for us here on this program over at this channel. Thank you to Tyler Zander behind the virtual glass, doing a great job, keeping me apprised of everything I need to be doing. And also overall, just being a lovely human being who can take jokes about College Station somewhat, because it's whatever. It's just a whatever. Just go play poker and you'll be happy. You're probably playing poker right now is probably what's going on. Yeah. See, I know you. Neil Orfield, just an absolute showdown goat as we get done here. At Eric Lindquist, questionable as a top 3 outcast CD. Buddy, it is the GOAT CD. And I know that's not, outside of Miss Jackson, that's really the only other hit that didn't exist from Speaker Box Love Below. But we're talking about an album that Speaker Box alone, I could listen to on a repeat for days. It is just too damn good. I know that Love Below is more towards Andre 3000, Big Boy. Big Boy in general is one of the greatest rappers of all time. And there will be nothing that takes away from that take for sure. You just want to sit and go. Good for you. Brown or Smith? Last question from Shamar Glassby. Brown or Smith? Oh, you retracted it. I like Smith more than I like Brown on this slate.
I think I do as well. Obviously, it doesn't shock us if Brown puts up a huge game, but just because of the value, I think in general, I'm going to have more of Devontae Smith.
Okay. Guys, this was a lot of fun. Another Sunday night in the books. Another Sunday NFL slate in the books. Go home. Well, you're probably home right now. Enjoy the football game. Hopefully, Philadelphia can get it done. Final score, Neil Orfield.
Final score, actually, I think will be Eagles 33, Packers 17.
I would be just fine with it. My lineups probably won't be, but I would be just fine with it from a real life perspective. Thank you so much to all of you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next Sunday, of course. We've got great content coming up tomorrow. NBA Streets. Check out the Odd Chopper channel too. NBA stuff coming out daily, even by yours truly. So be on the lookout for that. Also be on the lookout for Neil Orfield over on the Twitters. He's always just creating storms and fires on the Twitter sphere, bashing the good name of, I don't know who. You're pretty nice on Twitter, not going to lie. Player Q DFS is where you go find him. You can see it underneath his name there. I'm Eric Lindquist. Go follow me at Eric Lindquist. We'll catch you next time. Thank you to No House Advantage for their sponsorship of this lovely show.